Alright, my first recipe here is for potato salad. So over here I have some potatoes that I've washed, peeled, and diced. I've got some eggs. And there's my potatoes. I've put them in the Instant Pot and I'm sprinkling some salt on them. And then I'm going to take this trivet and stick it on top of the potatoes and put my eggs on top of that. So it just kind of creates a barrier between the eggs and potatoes. Next, I'm going to pour a cup of water in the bottom of that pot and then put the lid on it and make sure it's on seal. I'm going to put it on manual for 4 minutes. Now that it's done, I let it sit for 5 minutes and I'm going to release the rest of the pressure. I'm going to hit cancel and turn off the heat and then open up my lid. Sometimes it's a little hard. I just push down and wiggle it to get most of the pressure out. Alright, I'm going to take my eggs and put them in this bowl, and then I'm going to put this bowl in the sink and let cold water run over it to cool them off. And then while those are cooling off, I'm going to come over here to drain the potatoes. So it's really hot. I'm going to take my tongs and remove that trivet. And then I'm going to use heating pads to remove that inner pot. And then this is the strainer I like to use. You just put it on the side and tip the pot over. So I drain the water and have them in my bowl, and then I'm going to season them really well with salt. And add some onion powder just for extra flavor, and you do want to make sure you do this while your potatoes are still pretty hot and let it soak in that flavor. I have some chopped up green onions here with the stems and everything that I'm going to sprinkle in there, and I'm going to let that sit while I do the eggs. So I'm peeling the eggs, and look how easy this is. That came off so good. I'm going to rinse it off, get the shells off, and then I'm using a chopper to chop the eggs. Alright, I've got the eggs on top of the potatoes now, and I'm going to add some mayonnaise. I've got about a cup of mayonnaise here, and then some mustard. I'm going to do about probably 2 teaspoons of mustard. I don't like mine really mustardy, but you can add more if you want. Mix that up into the mayonnaise. And then just stir that all together. And there you have it. There's easy Instant Pot potato salad. I bought these ribs at Walmart. They're pretty big and meaty. And I'm going to season them with the steak blend sauce. Alright, now I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut these into sections. I usually cut them 3 to 4 ribs per section. And now I'm going to take the trivet and put that in the bottom of the Instant Pot. And then I'm going to layer my ribs on top of that, standing up and not stacked up on top of each other in there. So this is what it looks like. See how they're stacked up on the sides? Then I'm going to add about a cup of water to the bottom. And then I'm going to sprinkle this liquid smoke into the water. Put the lid on and lock it. And then put that on seal, and then I'll do manual pressure for 25 minutes. If your ribs aren't as meaty, you can do about like 23 minutes. So after this prep was done, I let it sit for 5 minutes and I turned it to release the pressure. Turned it off, and now I'm going to open up my lid. So I'm kind of having a hard time, and if this happens to you, all you have to do is get something sharp and push in that button that's behind where you seal your lid. So I'm going to use some scissors and just push that little thing down, and then my lid will open. So I'm going to take my ribs out and put them on this cookie sheet. And I like to use this Stubbs barbecue sauce. This one's my favorite. I've tried all the flavors and I like all of them, but this was just the original one. I'm going to put it in a bowl here. Had to open another bottle. And then I've got a silicone basting brush that I'm going to use to put the barbecue sauce on the ribs. My grill has been out here getting hot. If you haven't watched my grilling video, look that up and check it out. So I'm going to put these on the grill. And I haven't done anything to these except take them out of the Instant Pot and put them on my cookie sheet. Now I'm going to baste them with the barbecue sauce on both sides. Alright, now I'm going to close this and let it sit for a few minutes, probably about 3 to 5. Open it up, and then I'm going to flip these over to cook on the other side. Alright, and they look done, so I'm going to pull them off and put them back on this cookie sheet and take them inside. Close the grill when I'm done. And then I'm going to serve it with potato salad. Alright, we're going to do Mexican rice. So I'm doing 1.5 cups of rice here in the Instant Pot, about 1/2 cup of tomato sauce, and then some onion powder. I'm going to sprinkle in probably half a teaspoon. And then next up is cumin. And this is what gives it a lot of the flavor, so don't skimp out on this. I think I probably did about 1 to 2 teaspoons of cumin. Alright, and then I'm going to salt it really good. I like to use this pink Himalayan salt that I got at Costco. Salt it really well. This is one of my favorite recipes. Alright, I've got some bone broth, and I'm going to do 2 cups of that to my 1.5 cups of rice. So this is a 1 cup measuring cup, so I'm going to pour 1 in there, and then I'm going to do another one. Alright, there's my liquid. I'm going to stir it up really good. And then I'm going to put the lid on there, put it to seal, and cook it on manual pressure. Actually, I did the rice setting for 10 minutes, but if yours doesn't have a rice setting, you can do that on just manual 10 minutes. Release the pressure when it's done. I think I let it sit for 5 minutes. Hit cancel and turn off the heat. And just let that depressurize. Once that's ready, then you take the lid off of it and just stir it up really good. You will have some tomato sauce and stuff that collects on the top, but that's fine. Just stir it in really good. And then I'm going to serve it in a white dish that has a lid. And there it is. Alright, this one is going to be chicken tacos. This one will go great with that Mexican rice. So I've got some chicken that I thawed out in the sink in hot water, and I'm just going to put that in the Instant Pot here. And then I'm going to season it with salt. And then you can do taco seasoning, but I like to just add my own seasonings. So I'm going to do onion powder, and some garlic powder, and then I've got some cumin, and some chili powder. And I'm going to do some smoked paprika as well. Alright, now I've got some mild rotel tomatoes. I'm going to sprinkle some of that in there. If you're doing more chicken, you can do more of this. Chili beans, and you can do any kind of bean. And then some canned corn. And then some bone broth. And I just kind of cover it up a little bit with this, maybe half a cup. Put it on seal, and then I'm going to cook it on manual pressure for 12 minutes. Alright, and then I'm going to heat up my oven. I'm doing convection bake at 425, so that's going to, actually no, I did 400. And then I've got white corn tortillas. And I'm going to put them here on my cookie sheet, and I'm going to bake them at the 400 for 7 minutes. And then my daughter wanted a corn tortilla. So I'm going to spray these with the avocado oil on both sides. And then I'm going to do the crunchy tortilla that my daughter wanted. It looks like a lot of them are broken, so she's just going to get one because she doesn't want to use those. So we're going to do one crunchy and add another white corn tortilla, spray it good with the avocado oil on both sides. And then I'm going to put them in my oven and cook that for 7 minutes. And baking those tortillas makes them not crumble as much and fall apart when you are trying to eat it. So let's do 7 minutes, and I've got 6 minutes left on my Instant Pot for the Mexican rice, or for the chicken, sorry. I'm going to serve this with Mexican rice though. Alright, so I pulled that out of the oven. And then my Instant Pot's done. There's a lot of liquid, so I'm going to put it on saute and just cook down a lot of that liquid. So as you can see, a lot of that liquid is cooked out. So I'm going to take my tortillas, and I've added some cheddar. This is what I like to do for dairy-free. So I've got cheddar on 2 of them for people that aren't dairy-free, and then 2 of us are dairy-free. So I'm going to put this chicken mixture on top of all of these. And then next up is cilantro. I like to just take some scissors and cut the cilantro off like this. And then I'm gonna sprinkle it with some tahini seasoning. If you haven't tried this, you really need to. It gives it a lime flavor too. And there you go, easy chicken tacos.